What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Boozer here. Thanks for stopping by. Today's video is going to be produced in a sewer to line up with the collab with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. No, I'm just kidding. Bear with me with the production. I'm on vacation right now, so I'm making this video on a pretty nasty laptop with pretty bad internet connection. So we'll do our best. But in this video, we are going to be talking about all of the turtle events. So I am really interested in this collab, and I really want to pick up all of the turtles on my account. Now, my account's not in the best shape to pick them all up, considering that, obviously it's going to be very resource intensive. But I think with the right planning and forward thinking, we are able to maybe come close to it. So if you guys are interested in finding out how you can also work towards all four of these turtles, stick around for the video. So what we do know in this collab is that some of the champions will be available through kind of guaranteed events, because Plarium did announce to us the event lineup that we should be expecting, which I will put on screen right now. So right now we have the in-game events that Plarium has announced to us. And so far we have the Michelangelo Chase, which is the free login champion. So we'll be getting that for free as long as you log into the game for 7 days. So that's no problem. We also have the Donatello Fragment event, which is the fusion event that's happening right now. Unfortunately, if you don't have any resources saved for this champion, it's going to be very difficult for you to get him unless you want to, basically spend some money. I believe there is a deal floating around for brand new players to pick up Donatello for the cost of 10 sacred shards. I don't know what it costs to get 10 sacred shards as a brand new player, but hey, maybe it's worth it, because otherwise I think it's actually quite difficult to get him. But 10 sacreds for a brand new player basically means that you're spending money in the game. I'm sure some regular players would happily spend 10 Sacred Shards to complete a fusion and save all the hassle. But hey, I think it's a new player promo only. And then afterwards, this is where it gets really interesting, because Plarium actually gave us these events in advance. So we have the Sword Master Path event from October 7th to the 10th. Complete objectives, collect hero coins, and blaze your way through the branching paths to unlock Leonardo and his 5-star perfect soul. Now, this is very interesting. We'll come back to all the details for this in a bit. I'm just going to read through these events first. And then we have the Hothead Deck of Fate. Tear through dungeons and tasks from October 13th to the 16th. Earn fate points, flip cards, and grab 100 fragments to summon the relentless Raphael. So he is also going to be up for grabs there. And then we have Ace Reporter Titan event. Take on the longest event of the crossover from October 6th to the 23rd to earn milestone rewards like April O'Neil, new relics, skill tomes, and more. So this is really cool that Plarium actually gave us all of these events for this entire collab, in advance, and it's really good. So it gave me a chance to kind of try to optimize what I'm going to do, because I'm not actually swimming in shards right now, so it's going to be a little bit difficult. So you can kind of take a look here at my shard stash here. I got 4 sacred shards. I have plenty of primal shards, but honestly, these are the most powerful shards in the game, so I want to save them for 2x events and basically nothing else. I do have ancient shards, I do have some void shards, and I do have mystery shards. Now, you guys look at all these shards, you guys might think like I have a lot, but it's probably not a lot for, completing a fusion and a hero's path and a deck of fate, because those are the 3 turtles that you require spending resources on. Like April O'Neil, you can probably, say you don't want to get, but her Titan event is going to overlap with the other events as well. So keeping in mind all of this, we can take a look more closely at what to expect and then plan accordingly. So this is what I'm going to be doing. We are going to use a calendar. So we have a calendar here. So in purple, I will be marking the Donatello fusion here. So it's going to be happening from the 21st all the way until the 3rd of September. All right. And then in blue, we will do Leonardo's Sword Master event. It's going from October 7th to the 10th. And then in magenta, since we don't have red, I don't know why, on this program, we're going to do the Hothead Deck of Fate, and that's going to be Raphael Deck of Fate from the 13th to the 16th. We also have the April O'Neil Titan event happening from the 6th to the 23rd. So April's Titan event will overlap with Leo and Raphael, which is pretty insane. All right, so currently I'm sitting on 4 Sacred Shards. We have the Doom Tower up to finish, so then I'll probably have 5 Sacred Shards guaranteed in the next day or so. And that should be more than enough for me to finish off the fusion. I do have other shards like mystery shard that I'm going to use as well. Now, after Donatello's fusion, September looks pretty wide open. We can assume that there's probably going to be a event for Donatello's 5-star soul. Now, I'm not too sure if Donatello's 5-star soul will be a 2-week event on his own. It could be a Titan event on its own, uh, or it could be a Hero's Path or anything like that. But personally speaking, I think Donatello's soul is actually not that important for him because his kit does not require accuracy. So getting the 5-star soul is not that important for him. Resistance could be important, but not accuracy. He's not a damage dealer, so getting higher levels of the blessing will not increase his damage at all. So honestly, Donatello's 5-star soul has much less value than on somebody else. If his soul was up for grabs and it requires shards or other heavy, extensive resources, I would probably pass. But we can kind of expect that after his fusion sometime in September. Now, outside of Donatello's 5-star soul, I don't see what else it could really be for the month of September. It's possible that a fusion could be happening, but I could also see various events centered around the event dungeon. There could also be training events with the guaranteed rewards. For example, we could see a champion chase for a guaranteed shredder, for example, because that's happened in the past where they've offered the void champion for the collabs as the winner take all in one of these crazy events like training or champion chase or all that. But I'm not sure if another fusion would happen here, but it does seem like a significant break. It looks like a 1 month break. So considering that we will be skipping Donatello's soul, gives us almost a month to stock up until April's Titan event starts. Now, we'll probably have a lot of events for various relics. Remember, the relics are going to be, highly hyped up for this collab, so there's going to be a bunch of events for those as well. Personally speaking, I think the relics are good, but they're not crazy, so I'll probably just get whatever I can, not to go too crazy for them. Considering that I think the champions are way more exclusive than the relics, I would probably prefer to get the champions over the relics. And if you prefer to get the champions over the relics, then that's probably what you would do. You just have to be hyper focused on what you need to be doing, and that is to get the champions. Even the souls for the champions are not as important as the champions because the souls you can always get later on, but the champions are exclusive to this timeline, so you have to get the champions first. So here we go. As we enter October, the Titan event will start, and then we have the Leo Hero's Path going in on the 7th to the 10th. Now, this is going to be interesting. Now, I did a little bit of a breakdown here with some of the most recent and most relevant Hero's Path and Deck of Fate requirements to get them. If you've just started this game, this is going to help you guys a lot, so make sure you guys pay attention because this is going to give you an idea of what kind of resources you'll need to complete some of these events for the turtle. So Leonardo's event starting on the 7th to the 10th. It's a Hero's Path. It's going to be very, very expensive. It has his champion as well as his 5-star soul. We've seen this in the past, actually somewhat recently, with the Packmaster and the Dog Soul. This Hero's Path was requiring shards and dungeon divers points. So those energy. And then we recently, before that, had Balar and then Balar Soul, also consisting of shards and divers as well. Podrick appeared sometime last year around St. Patrick's Day, and it was also shards and stones, not divers this time. And that was very expensive. It had Titan points in it as well. It had a lot of stuff in it. And then before that, I actually found Roxem, which was basically a guarantee champion for a Hero's Path, and he required shards and divers as well. So to me, it looks like the Leo's Hero's Path probably will be shards plus divers. Considering that, most of the previous ones were shards and divers. Now, it is a little bit of an awkward spot for Leo's path because his ends on Friday. Ending on Friday means that he might have 1 day overlap with the weekend summoning event. So usually starting on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there's usually a summoning event. So if for some reason Leo's Hero's Path lines up with that, it makes it slightly less likely that his Hero's Path will consist of shard openings. Now, another thing to consider is since Leo's Path lines up with a Titan event, I would probably wager that there will be Titan event points in his Hero's Path, as well as his soul and himself. So it's probably going to be a massive, massive Hero's Path. So I think shards probably makes a lot of sense. Again, trying to remain focused on what you want to do. If you just want to get Leonardo, then spending the resources just to get him, ignoring everything else, makes the most sense. If you're new to this Hero's Path type of event, it's probably going to cost you somewhere in the region of 20 Sacred Shards for a champion and a similar amount of shards for his 5-star soul as well. Keep in mind that there's probably going to be a secondary component, like I said, dungeon divers, and maybe even a third component like soul stones. So I would definitely save all my soul stones for any kind of activity involving the turtles. After that, the week after, we have Raphael's Deck of Fate. Now, in this little blurb here, it does maybe possibly give a hint. It says that you tear through dungeons and tasks from October 13th to the 16th to earn the fate points and flip cards and whatever. So when he's saying, tear through the dungeons, it probably means dungeon diver, like, just logically speaking. So dungeon divers for the Deck of Fate, um, potentially it could be soul stones as well. Um, and potentially it could be shards as well. Since this starts on a Monday, it could start immediately after the weekend summoning events and then have another summoning portion for Raphael's Deck of Fate as well. Um, if Raphael's is a shard summoning event, I would say that Leonardo's would not be, but it would be extremely difficult to get points through his hero's path without shards, unless they are going to be really, really nasty and say soul stones and dungeon diving only. That would be absolutely insane for hero's path of that size. So I would imagine for that hero's path being so big, it's probably going to be shards and diving or training, or maybe even a third component with soul stones. And then for Raphael, it's probably going to be a dungeon diver with a secondary component, possibly soul stones, possibly training, possibly dungeon diving, and potentially shards as well. So these are the key resources you need to save if you want to pick up Leo and Raph in October. Like I said, in September, it's pretty wide open. And the only thing we're expecting is Donnie's 5-star soul somewhere. And I'm thinking Donnie's 5-star soul is a full skip. And then after that, we probably have maybe like 2 weeks of winner take all style tournaments, such as training events, champion chases, maybe some event dungeon events. As long as those events doesn't require me to spend shards or spend other very exclusive resources that I need to spend on getting the other turtles, Leo and Raph. Even April's Titan event, if we're looking in good shape, then I'll probably try to pick her up as well. Now, Shredder is going to be a tough one because Shredder is not going to be offered any kind of activity so far that's listed, anyways. I mean, definitely he could be obtainable through a winner take all chase. That's what I'm thinking at some point. But right now, we don't know. So for Raphael, once again, I'm going to go over the Deck of Fate requirements here. A lot of it comes down to Divers Stones. You can kind of see here, Greco's was a very recent one. It was Divers Stones. Khan was Divers Stones with shards. Knave, Diver Stones. Freya, Stones Training. Vitalis and Kaja with shards and divers. So you can kind of see the Deck of Fate. It really could be Divers Stones. I could see Divers Stones. Considering that the Raphael little blurb here it does say tear through the dungeons. So, Leo, I expect shards training, maybe shards training, and then Raph, divers, stones. So those are what you need to be looking for and saving up. And yeah, if you're new to raid, it's going to be really, really difficult unless you're spending really, really big money. For me, I'm going to spend as little shards as possible to finish off the Donnie fusion. I'm going to skip his 5-star soul because it's not necessary and it's not exclusive to this timeline. You can pick up his soul afterwards. And then I'm going to save all my available resources, especially shards and soul stones, because those are not readily available to a free to play player, and save those for Leo and Raph in October. I do anticipate somewhere along the line that there is going to be a 2x primal event at some point. It's been a while. I'm sitting on 41 primal shards myself, so it's about time. So we should be expecting to see a 2x primal boost at some point, and it's probably going to show up at probably the least opportunity, the least efficient time, I think. But you never know. Hopefully, it lands during one of these events for the turtles, and then it'll be all good. But probably not. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for the video. Like I said, just remain focused. If you guys are interested in trying to pick up all the turtles, Michelangelo is going to be free, so it's not going to be too hard. Donatello's the fusion. Can be done relatively straightforward. His fusion plan, I released a video earlier yesterday. It's not too bad. It does require a little bit of extra energy spend. Total shard spend should be moderate or average. And I think with the fact that you can kind of skip his soul makes it a lot less stressful to try to complete the fusion and then not worry about his soul afterward. And we'll see what happens in September in terms of what Plarium has to offer to try to entice us to spend our resources. But honestly, as long as you remain focused on trying to get what you want to get, in this case, the turtles, then you at least have a month to save up, and hopefully you're doing Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, double chesting every day, and then you can save up at least half a dozen to a dozen sacred shards in that month, and then hopefully you guys will be set up to at least participate and get at least Leo or Raphael, if not get both. But we'll reassess as more information is available, and I'll present that to you guys here. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Like I said, I apologize for the production quality. I am recording this in my car on a laptop on some really bad internet. So thank you guys for bearing with it. We'll be back to our regular scheduled stuff after the weekend. And I hope to be spending a lot of time on the test server, testing out some of these new turtles for you guys. Really excited to jump in there and see what they can do. They look awesome, and they have some really cool kits. I think all of them are good. But yeah, something to look forward to. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for making it to the end. Appreciate you all. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.